Okay, hello everybody, and thank you again for joining us to the BNC Academy. This is your guy, Mr. M. Dango. I'm your entrepreneurship trainer, business coach, and Mr. Automator. So today I'm so honored to be having someone that I always see on stage doing his thing, and sometimes we actually meet on the backstage, we are doing this, we are doing that. And but it's my greatest honor to be on the call with the one and only Mr. Sage. I'm gonna call you Sage. Yeah, with the one and only Mr. Sage. How are you, my good sir?
I'm good, man. Thanks so much for having me on the interview. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for making time for me. I know you are super busy, and right now we've got some summits that are coming tomorrow and sort of stuff. It's
Yeah.
just crazy. Everything is crazy. I know, man. I know, man. But thank you so much for making time for us. Yeah. So, before we dive into it, can you tell me who is Sage?
Um, he's an ordinary person who has an extraordinary love for connecting people on their roads, their journeys to achieve what they want to achieve in life, and primarily through marketing.
Mhm. Wow. So that's actually your main passion of connecting people. So what exactly are you doing to connect such to connect with people and doing all sorts of that?
So I work with different speakers and experts are all around the world, and I help them connect uh, audiences to them. I get them onto their webinars, I get them into their marketing campaigns, and I get them to nurture them in a way that they become buyers of the programs
Mhm.
that these experts are selling. I consult to the companies. I consult and I look at what they're doing and how we could do it better within my framework and philosophy of understanding how to take somebody by the hand and not force them into a sale. Get them into the right position. Never sell anything to somebody who doesn't need it.
Mm.
Always allow people to come into from a place of abundancy rather than fear.
Mhm. Mhm. Wow, that's so amazing, and it looks very big. As far as I know, you have been on the same platform with the likes of Les Brown and all these big guys. Yeah, yeah, and this is it's such an honor. But there is one topic that I know that one you kill it, and that is the power of webinar. So can we talk about that? What is webinar? Like to somebody, there are other people, when you say, okay, I know you should join the webinar, I said, what's a webinar?
Mm,
And then when
yeah.
they're there, they say, okay, then what? And there are so many other
Mm.
businesses out there that are struggling to grow simply because they don't understand the power of webinars. So can we talk about that? Like from the beginning, and also how can one jump into it and the
Yeah.
system and sort of stuff? Yeah.
So basically, a webinar is simply a seminar online.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same as in the simplest sense. It's very similar to watching a video on YouTube or Netflix, but you're logging into something live. You're logging into a live environment with the speaker who is focusing for 90 minutes to 2 hours
Mm.
on a topic. And that topic is that webinar is there to educate, and it's also to inspire people to take action with their lives and
Mm.
to put themselves into a position that they can take the next steps, whether it be mentoring, coaching, or buying a service or product. And webinars for me right now, and I think back a year ago when I give this talk, is it's moved in massive leaps. COVID has really accelerated the learning experience with on webinars. So everywhere you look, somebody is doing a webinar, and there was an influx of webinars in the last 6 months or so.
Mm.
So the simplest thing is you log into with your phone, your iPad, your laptop, and you engage live with the speaker and consume the knowledge that he or she wants to share.
Oh wow, yeah. The other thing, or I can say blessing in disguise, is the issue of COVID. Like with this COVID, because before COVID we used to struggle to put people on the webinar, because I say, what's a webinar? But right now everybody knows that I have to go online for me to learn. I have to go online for me to reach out to my audience. Because if I don't do that, then it's either I'm dying or my business is dying as well. Yeah, so COVID came to disrupt everything. Yeah, so COVID came and actually disrupt everything, and yeah, and so that all other thing. But what to consider, if I want to start running webinars as well, what are some of the key things that I must consider, that I must put in place before that?
First thing to run a webinar is that you need to get over your fear of selling. You run a webinar, to get people on there, the software that it takes, you're paying a fee to do this stuff. And, a webinar should be profitable. You should have a product in line, and it should never be something that you go in there to experiment with. You need to have your ducks in a row, and you need to understand that, if you don't make a sale, somebody as your competition is going to make a sale to somebody. So that for me is the number one key. The second thing is that you need to be comfortable with using persuasion tactics and using a framework, and understanding that if you teach so much to people, if you go out and become an outright teacher to people on a webinar, that nobody would want to buy your product, because you're giving them the tools and techniques to go and do it. The only thing a webinar should do is to inspire people to believe that they can do more, but they don't have the roadmap, they don't have the framework in order to achieve that more. And that's where you come in with the sale to.
Oh, great. So yeah, you also spoke about two main things, like being comfortable of you going online, right? Being comfortable of sitting behind the camera, talking, transferring data from you to your audience. That is the first thing that you really need also to do. And then I think the other thing again that you touch, the power of persuading a language. There are other people who doesn't know how to do that. So you have to know how can you persuade somebody, because this is no longer because on this one you can not benefit more by using formal, right? Because we are not in the room where they can see other people running and purchasing and sort of stuff. Because this is now like you have to convince them, you have to persuade them to do that. But talk to me about the power of copyright when you are marketing your webinar, and also and also on your landing page, on your sales pages as well. Can we talk about that as well? Yeah.
So people make a decision, a buying decision, with the use of emotion. Any decision that we make when it comes to separation or money is tied up to an emotion. The emotion of, I need to do this in order to survive, or I want to do this because I deserve it. And when it comes to copywriting, when it comes to your funnel pages, there needs to be a level of psychology in it. And the psychology play there needs to promote an emotion. It needs to promote an emotion of excitement, but also promote the emotion of scarcity, that, if you don't claim this now, you might miss the boat. And who knows when the boat might come back.
Wow. So here we need to also add the agency, like, so that people, they can feel like, if I don't get this now, then I don't get it anyway. Again. Wow. I know you have been in this industry for quite a long time. So what are some of the mistakes that you have made on the webinar that either made your webinar to actually flop, or what are some of common mistakes that every entrepreneur who is running these online webinars mostly make? Yeah.
Teaching too much. too
Sorry?
much too much teaching.
Oh,
They
yeah.
teach too much. They give too much content. They waffle on, and energy. That's it. Got to be to the point. Got to be concise, and you got to follow the framework. If you go out on a tangent and start to waffle on, you've lost it.
Wow. So don't give too much. But what must I give? Because the audience come for content. So what must I give?
You need to give them content that inspires them to make a decision that they want to make their life better, or they're inspired to want to pursue that avenue, whether it be marketing or Instagram or whatever the case may be. You need to inspire them, and they need to say, "Hey, I can do this, but I don't know how to do this."
Okay. Okay. Wow. So just keep on pressing the buying button, the buying trigger, the pain, the pain, the pain. So don't give too much because they say, okay, we have got it all. So what else are we supposed to go and buy? Because we've got it all. And after all, there's also a replay. So I can go there and rewatch again and learn more and just get out of this. That's so amazing. That's so amazing. So you have to know the amount of content that you are giving, sell the why, and then the other one that you say is the energy. Yeah. So how can you control energy on a webinar? How can you control it? Because on a webinar, I cannot jump that people can see, like what you do in an actual seminar. I cannot tell them to stand and dance while I can see with them. Yeah. So how can you also
No, it's not
control?
about it's about energy is about control.
Yeah.
And about understanding that you are in control of the webinar. So if there's negative comments, if people are talking and trashing you and thing which happens all the time, that you need to know that you need to have focus, and your energy is focused towards that. So you're focusing your energy towards the output that you want to achieve. It's not about what people say about you, is none of your business.
Wow. So and also the other solution also like to bad comments and sort of stuff, you can either switch off the chat or the live chat so that you can control that. Yeah, so that you can control that. Oh,
The thing is that if somebody is on a webinar and they're giving bad comments and they're there to the end and they're only criticizing, the fact of the matter is that they're not very busy. So they've probably got nothing going on in their lives at that moment. So that's the thing, to make themselves feel better, to justify why they're in a position or why they're not succeeding. And in life you've got winners and losers, and unfortunately, some people win and some people lose. And most of the time, it has nothing to do with other people except for yourself.
wow. That's what I mean. So with such of those challenges that you have pointed up there, and some of these things that you can use as well in order for you to run a successful webinar. How can you then how can you then close the webinar itself? Because yes, starting the starting can be well. How can you control the listening span of the people, and also how can you close for success? Yeah, on the webinar.
So during the webinar, there needs to be a certain dialogue that goes on. So at certain points, you strategically get people to say yes, get people to say I agree, and get people to do ratings. And that what you do is you actually start to cultivate an attitude of yes, of a yes answer to any question that you ask in the webinar. So when you ask them, can I make this sale? Can I give you this opportunity? You've already conditioned them to say yes during the webinar. You close it off strong, and remember that you should never rush through a sale. Never be pressured with the fear of failing, that it puts you into a position where you don't bring your best. At the end of the day, whether there's one person on the webinar or whether there's 1,000 people on the webinar, don't rush it. That's if you know your value, remember that if you're important enough, people will wait if you're late.
Wow. Wow. So don't rush the sale saying, right now, okay, so right now we've got 700 people on the call, but the numbers are keeping on going down. So let me rush to the sale. So don't rush the sale. Do your things, plan your webinar very well. Okay, so on the planning of it, what are other things can you do? How can you schedule your webinar? Because I know, like during the events, I can tell myself that okay, so for first 20 minutes, I'm gonna be talking about this. For this one, I'm gonna speak about this joke. On this one, I'm gonna ask them to do this. Then I'm gonna do. So can you also do the same style on the webinar as well?
Yeah, there's a structure to it. Every successful webinar has a structure to it.
Wow.
Remember that success leaves clues.
Yes. So every successful webinar have a structure to it. Have a structure to it. So you need to structure everything on your webinar the same way that we are doing events. Is because the other thing that I say that if you can run your webinar the same way you run your events, your webinar will never flop. It will just gonna go up like that. Wow. Great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, great. So what are some of the tips that you can give to someone who is actually watching out there saying, okay, these are the tips that you can start now to action on right now. Yeah, what are some of those tips that you can get?
Get a mentor. That's the number one tip. Get a mentor. If you want to do webinars, find someone who's successful on webinars. Don't waste your time with somebody who isn't.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, you can read 110 different books and you can do 110 different webinars until you're blue in the face. But unless you have a mentor who's done it before you and understands what they're doing and how you can copy them, it's never going to work.
Wow. So having a mentor. So what you're saying is like you can read a book about swimming and you read 5 or 20 or 100 books about swimming. When you go and try to swim, you're gonna fail simply
The
because
water, it's very different. Yeah. You can watch tons of YouTube videos about swimming as well. When you get into the water, it's a different thing.
Oh yes, yes. So having a mentor is one thing that is the best as well. Okay. So can you tell us about your webinar program and where can people get it and something like that? Yeah.
If somebody wants to, you know, my webinar program, I don't sell it upfront anymore. You know, there needs to be a process that goes into see whether people qualify for it or not. If somebody wants to join up or they want to look at a possibility, they can go and email Cindy, CINDY, at herouniversity.co. That's HEROUNIVERSITY.co. Go ahead and reach out, Cindy.
Great. Yeah, great. And we're also gonna put all of the links in the chat box as well. So thank you so much, my brother. I don't know if you do have got some of the closing thoughts that you might need also to leave the audience with.
Yeah, dude, I've been watching you doing your stuff with the Kajabi and the affiliate stuff. So whoever's watching this, if you're following this man over here, follow him. You know, he's been doing a lot of really cool stuff, and I've been seeing it on Facebook. So, you know, if you're thinking about working with him, you're going to be in good hands. You know, he's got lots of perseverance and understanding different systems outside of things that I know about as well. So, and in terms of understanding, remember that each of us have a model of reality, and if we're living a life that we're not happy with, it means that we are living somebody else's model of reality. Oh, yeah. And we need to go back and understand where that model of reality came from and how we can first understand that yes, you can change your model of reality. And you know, remember that you are the sum of the 5 people that you're closest to. You are the average of them. So if the 5 people closest to you are wasting their life, if they feel that, you know, they value partying and drinking over anything else, that's what your life dictates. You know, show me someone's friends and I'll show you their future. I'll tell you their bank account. and that's very important, is that you understand that you owe it to yourself, not just now, but you owe it to yourself in 10 years from now and 20 years from now, to be making decisions today that's going to impact that life in a positive way, because you don't want to waste the life that you have right now on things that are not of value.
Wow. Thank you so much, Sage. Thank you so much. This means quite a lot to me.
No
And thank you
problem.
so much for making time and coming
No
on my
worries.
platform. I hope the audience have
Cool.
benefited as much as I did. Thank you so much, brother.
Cool. Thanks for having me. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Great.